Goku got to know the Zamasu from this new timeline, and the Tournament power was also set into motion. But on top of that, Cell returned, this time with a new villain alongside him. We'll cover all that and more in this 10th part of What If Goku Was Reborn. Goku begins his fight with Baby Cell. It's a good thing he noticed something was different about Cell because that made Baby reveal his true motives here. And he knows that whoever this guy is that took over Cell, he could probably take over other people too. At least that's what he assumes could happen. He's never met this villain before. And as he's fighting Baby, he realizes that he's not really too strong. Sure, he's powerful, but not on Goku's level. It's not going to be too much of an entertaining fight. So he decides to give this fight to Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. They're a little confused. Is he just giving them the scraps? No, this would be a good fight for them, and especially because they know more about the Tuffles than him, maybe it'll be more enjoyable. Well, they don't really know that much more, they just know that the Saiyans wiped out the Tuffles. Baby doesn't like the way he's being treated either. He's not some toy for them. He's the ultimate creation of the Tuffles, and he's here for revenge. But maybe it would be more appropriate to fight Vegeta. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz do rock, paper, scissors, and Vegeta ends up winning. Baby already said he's going to fight Vegeta anyways, but Vegeta says they at least need to be fair here. He's not going to steal a fight from them, and he's not going to fight alongside them either. This is going to be a 1v1. Vegeta and Baby begin their battle. Baby Cell is actually as strong as any one of them individually, besides Goku. If he were fighting Raditz and Nappa, he would slightly overpower them. With Vegeta, they're pretty close, but Vegeta does have a slight edge. Plus, he has something new that he's been waiting to try out as well. He's really glad he won the rock, paper, scissors here because otherwise he wouldn't get to showcase this. He asked Kakarot to watch closely. This is what he's been training for. And Beerus watches closely too because he knows exactly what this is. Baby's a little bit confused. Vegeta starts charging a purple ki blast in his hands, and Baby laughs at this. What does he think he's going to be able to accomplish? Baby could regenerate, and so could Cell. It's going to be impossible for Vegeta to completely destroy him. There's no way to do that. And Vegeta laughs. Really. He knows a lot more about destruction than Baby does. Wait, what's he talking about? And Goku chuckles too. So, Vegeta's finally figured out what he needs to do. He has been training with Beerus. And he's just fighting in Blue Evolution right now, but that ki blast he's charging, it isn't normal ki. He's charging a Hakai. But then Goku gets a little bit concerned because he doesn't necessarily want Cell to get erased there. He was hoping to fight Cell some more. Baby's another problem, and Vegeta could do whatever he wants. But Vegeta tells him to relax. He knows that. He doesn't want to destroy Cell. Though he doesn't really care if Cell dies in the process, he has no attachment to him. Goku doesn't really either, and if he needs to die, then whatever. It's just that he feels it's kind of unnecessary. And that's exactly why Vegeta's pulling this out here. Baby panics because he has no clue what they're talking about, but they seem really confident that they can destroy him. He tries as hard as he can to cut Vegeta so he can infect him, but nothing's working. And Vegeta eventually catches on to his tricks, seeing that Baby's purposely trying to cut him, and he's not too focused on injuring him in any other way. So, that must be how he infects people, right? Damn, now Baby's really starting to panic. Vegeta directly places his hand on Cell's chest. This is practice for him. He knows he can make really strong Hakais, but he's trying to train the accuracy and nuance of them right now. He shouts Hakai. Baby gets suspended in air for a brief moment, and then surrounded by a brilliant purple glow. Rays of light shoot out of him, and then Cell's body completely explodes. But it's not like Vegeta destroying Cell's body. It's like there was an explosion inside of Cell. Vegeta pulls his hand back and then says, whoops, he might have actually just killed Cell then. Goku asks what he was trying to do. Well, his Hakai targeted Baby directly, and he knows that he pulled it off correctly. That attack did destroy Baby, but in the process, of course, it completely blew up Cell's body. It was a little bit tough because he was working against two machines here, but he was trying to give the Hakai enough nuance to just attack the Baby part of him and then leave Cell behind. And Goku asks if Vegeta's absolutely sure he did that, and he is. Well then, Goku thinks that there's not going to be any problem. A few moments later, a few clumps of Cell start to reform, and then he completely regenerates. He's worn out, injured, and breathing heavily, but he looks like the normal perfect Cell that Goku knew from before. Actually, he's super perfect now. Cell looks down at his hands and then grabs his face too. He's a little bit confused because, first of all, he knew he just blew up, but second of all, now he actually has control of himself again. Well, it's a good thing he had regeneration, otherwise he would have died from that. Baby has been removed from Cell, and Cell got a bit of a power boost from it too. Cell kinda lost track of time too because Baby's had possession of his body for a few weeks or so. He learns where he is and what happened. But he's at least glad to know that he still became perfect, so in the end, he came out on top. Of course, it doesn't mean Cell's a good guy or anything. He is still Cell, and he could also tell he's clearly outmatched here, but he got the perfection he wanted, and he has grown a lot stronger in the meantime. Goku asks what he's been up to, and at first Cell was absorbing some other life forms around Universe 7, but then he just started training on his own. But on top of that, he was watching from afar, trying to observe Goku, trying to copy abilities of his too, which kinda did work. He had a bunch of info before, and he was able to replicate things prior to that too, but now Cell believes he's better than ever. And who knows, maybe if he starts training even more rigorously, he could grow really quickly, He doesn't even have godly ki right now. And Goku's glad to see this. Most of the power that Baby had actually came from Cell. And after the Zenkai Cell just got, even without Baby, he's still around as strong as Raditz or Nappa, and that basically made up for the lost strength there. Goku does see potential in him, and even though he is still a villain, he of course knows that Cell's main motive is fighting. He wants to grow stronger. He wanted to become perfect, which he did. He wants to fight Goku now, but Goku has something else in mind. He asks Cell if he wants to join the Tournament of Power. The Saiyans and Beerus all look on a little bit confused because, isn't this guy a villain? Why would they want him on the team? Well, that's kind of the whole point. They know Cell is strong, and it would be good to have him as an ally. And once Cell hears what happens if they lose the tournament, he's up to join. It's partially out of self-preservation, partially because this would benefit him. He would be able to fight as many people as he wants, and he wouldn't really have to hold back too much. He just can't kill anyone. Raditz asks Goku what his plan here is, and he doesn't really have a plan, he's kinda just doing this on the fly. Raditz still doesn't know Goku's secret, but in Goku's mind what he's looking to do is see if Cell could be a potential ally here. Is he a threat? Sure, but threats can be dealt with. He was a little bit curious about that baby guy that just showed up, but he definitely was pure evil. He would not have been a good rival here. And Cell ends up joining the Tournament of Power because he wants to see Goku's strength but also fight a lot of other people. Vegeta is glad his Kai worked, but it is a little strange because that's the first time he used it to destroy a person. Sure, Baby was an artificial life form, but still, considering the history of the Saiyans and Tuffles, it's just a bit of a strange feeling. He kinda needed to do it too. But he truly erased the last piece of Tuffle technology, snuffing them out for good, and he's starting to realize the extent of the strength that he has because of this. This is the right path to go down, but he has to come to terms with that first. And Beerus notices this too. He's taught Vegeta well, and he wonders if he has the right mindset for that, but maybe he'll make his own thing out of it. As for the rest of the team of the tournament, well, they already have a lot of great people to begin with. Goku, Gohan, King Piccolo, Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, and now Cell. I feel Tien and Krillin would also join. And they have a bunch of other options too, but for the final member, Goku has kind of a strange pick. Android 16. He's been upgraded. He's a training partner for Vegeta, so when Vegeta's on Earth, he has someone really strong to train with. He's not as strong as the Saiyans, but he's powerful. He's had a lot of upgrades. And Goku remembers how helpful the other androids were in the past tournament. 16's different than them because, unlike them, he's a full-on android, not a cyborg. He's purely mechanical, and maybe having a purely mechanical fighter could benefit them too. It's somebody that no one can sense. Also someone with great intellect that was improved further by Bulma and Dr. Brief. He did consider recruiting Goten because he has trained Goten a lot more here, but still, Goten isn't as experienced here. And you might be thinking, well, why not just recruit whoever he wants? He's gonna win this tournament himself, right? Nope. Goku actually tells Beerus he decides to sit out. At first he wanted to just not be on the team in general. Their team is stacked, and he thinks he's gonna steal all the fun. Beerus says he's stupid for that, but Goku just thinks he's not really necessary there. That's how confident he is in everyone else. Besides, he's seen what happened before. He'd rather observe everybody else fight. As much as Goku does love fighting, he just feels it's kind of unfair. Like he knows everybody there, he knows all their abilities, and he knows he's a lot stronger than them. Is it really that fun for him to do? Is it a worthwhile experience? But Zeno does want him there, so he's still going to be in the tournament. So he knows what he's going to do. He'll stay in the ring without transforming, and he's going to try not to fight unless provoked. Kind of like Jiren did originally. He'll let everyone else have their fun, and he knows they'll win. And worst case, if something bad does happen, well, he'll be there as backup, and he'll win the tournament by default. The Tournament of Power begins, and just like Goku thought, their team is completely stacked. All the other teams on the tournament are pretty much the same, except Universe 6 is going to be weaker without the tournament, and there's somebody else in the stands, Zamasu. He's actually recording all of this for GodTube. Even with the dire circumstances, if they end up making it out of here alive, this'll make for a nice documentary. The two strongest people behind Goku are King Piccolo and Gohan, although there is a really big gap between them. Seeing this, Raditz kinda just hopes he could surpass his brother, as well as his nephew. He feels like he's falling really far behind. Nappa kinda feels the same thing. He just wants to be the strongest, but unlike Raditz, it's not really as personal. Vegeta, on the other hand, has been trying to reinvent himself, and he has a new opponent he wants to fight here, Jiren. Immediately when he spots him, Vegeta knows he needs to be the one to defeat him. He starts to fight Jiren, just in Blue Evolution, which is really good, but not good enough. Goku's watching on and he sees that Vegeta's actually doing better than he initially did against Jiren. Raditz comes up to Goku during the tournament and asks why he's just watching. That guy seems really strong, he should fight him. But Goku says to wait a moment. He thinks Vegeta's hiding something, and he can kinda guess what it is. Jiren beats up Vegeta, and he's about to defeat him. He did have to show a lot more power than he expected, so he commends Vegeta for that. But Vegeta then says that he has a different understanding of power than Jiren does. He smirks, blood dripping from his mouth. He's learned recently that power derived solely from instinct is completely unbounded. And you know what's funny? He was taught this by a god of destruction. Vegeta's blue aura then grows a lot more intense and takes on the shape of flames. and then it shifts to a more purple color. Jiren watches on, unperturbed. But everyone else in the ring is stunned. All the gods of destruction watch on in complete shock. Vegeta's power-up completes. He calls this form Ultra Ego. Beerus is cheering in the stands, and Goku even starts cheering too. He's glad Vegeta figured it out so quickly. He was actually going to use that against Baby, but it wouldn't have made the fight too fun. He was waiting for a bigger challenge before he brought this out. This is the first time he'll use it in a true fight. Toppo and Dispo are watching on too, and Dispo asks if he thinks that Jiren's got this, but Toppo's not so sure. He thought he was the only one in the ring with the God of Destruction's power, but Vegeta seems a lot more intense. He seems a lot stronger. He might be able to surpass Jiren, and the worst part is, based on how Vegeta's using that power, it looks like he's just going to grow stronger and stronger the more he fights. Which is exactly what's happening. Vegeta completely overwhelms Jiren and forces him to use his full power. Their battle is incredibly destructive, destroying all of the ring around them, and even knocking out some fighters in the process, completely by accident. But the more hits Vegeta takes, the stronger he grows, and the more his battle spirit flares up. With this power, he's able to defeat Jiren, knocking him out of the ring. There was barely any progress with other fights in the ring at this time. Everyone was just completely focused on that. Although, Cell wasn't too concerned. He was fighting some people on his own and had some good experience. That power was pretty interesting though. Universe 7 ends up winning the tournament and Goku barely gets involved. A few people try to attack him, but he dispatches them really easily. And after fighting Jiren, Vegeta was basically having an adrenaline rush, so he went around knocking out a bunch of other fighters. He ends up racking up over 20 eliminations, some of them accidental from the fight with Jiren, but most of them just easy knockouts he got, plus the Jiren knockout too. He's named as MVP, and he has to make a wish here. Well, that's one thing Goku didn't really anticipate, but thankfully, they already discussed before the tournament what to wish for. Vegeta makes a wish to restore all the universes, and even if Kakarot didn't tell him to do that, he would have done so. First of all, it just feels like the right thing to do, and second of all, it means a lot more opportunities for great fights in the future. Following the tournament, Cell goes back out into space. He had his fun in the tournament, and he got to test his power out a little bit more. But the next time he sees all of them though, he plans to beat Goku. And he's not going to be absorbing other people for power either. No, he's just going to train himself. He's going to grow stronger on his own. It'll feel more fulfilling that way. Besides, he is the perfect life form. Someone as flawless as him should grow strong enough on his own. But before he leaves, Goku asks if Cell's ever tried to transform before. And no, not really. Well, Goku says that Frieza had some extra forms of his own. Maybe Cell could do that too. Oh, okay. Wait, what does he mean extra forms? Oh yeah, Cell wouldn't really know that. Just try and test out things for himself, see if he can transform. Beerus then walks up to Goku and asks why he didn't recruit that other guy. Well, clearly they didn't need him. But you know, now's probably a good time to visit him. Goku places 2 fingers on his forehead and teleports away. He arrives on planet Vampa, meeting up with Broly. You might have been wondering, why hasn't Broly showed up in the scenario yet? Goku obviously knows about him and where he is. Well, there's a reason for that. Broly has been here on Vampa the entire time, getting supplied by Goku too. Goku actually met him about a decade ago, and ever since then, he's secretly been visiting Broly and training him. Goku first needed to grow really strong, just so he could handle Broly. He had instant transmission for a while in the scenario, but once he first achieved his god forms, that's when he came here, just to be extra sure. Then he had to locate Broly, which is a little bit tough because even though he knew Broly's power, he had to wait for it to flare up on Vampa. He doesn't know the exact direction of where Vampa is, and there's not really any other energy sources he could lock onto there, so he had to wait a bit for that. Then he had to actually fight Broly because immediately Broly and Paragus wanted to kill him for being another Saiyan, and then after that, he had to gain Broly's trust. And without everything happening like it did normally, that was a bit harder. Especially with a really strong Saiyan showing up here out of nowhere, their first thought was that Goku was here to kill them. And Paragus' first thought was that he wanted to kill Goku too. So it took some time. Eventually Goku grew closer with Broly, and Paragus still didn't really like him, but they at least trusted him, and he started to train Broly, getting him more accustomed to his power. And until Broly fully had control on his power, he didn't want to bring him to Earth. Especially because he would see Vegeta there, that could trigger it, and then he'd just destroy everything. But also, he didn't want to screw up things too much, and by keeping Broly kind of separate from Earth, that would ensure he's not changing too much, because he already has changed a lot so far. He doesn't want any more unforeseen consequences. Anyways, Vampa's become kind of a nice little paradise for Broly. Bulma was wondering who Goku was bringing supplies to, but he eventually filled her in, and then she was sworn to secrecy. And now, he thinks it's finally time to introduce him to everybody. Maybe Beerus was right and he could have joined the tournament, but Goku didn't want to instigate anything between Vegeta and Broly, and he just wanted to be extra safe. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.